In the amazing world of Gumball, it's not all chaos and laughs. Beneath its bright colors and absurd humor lies a gallery of characters who inspire intense love and even stronger hate. Today, I'm taking an in-depth look at Elmore's most beloved and most hated characters. Because where there's an adorable Gumball, there's also a Mrs. Robinson ready to ruin the day. Intense comparisons, ruthless judgments, and plenty of controversy. For every 5 beloved Gumball characters, there are another 5 who are utterly loathed. Today, we're doing a full comparison to understand why some characters steal our hearts while others drive us absolutely bonkers. The most hated, pure malice and inflated egos. Mrs. Robinson, the irredeemable villain. Let's kick things off with the reigning queen of hate, Mrs. Robinson. It's as if she crawled straight out of the underworld. A character so utterly devoid of warmth or empathy that she feels less like a comedic caricature and more like a genuine force of negativity. Unlike other characters who might have their flaws but possess some redeemable qualities, even Darwin's occasional naivete or Gumball's self-centeredness can be endearing. Margaret is a bottomless pit of pure malice. There's genuinely nothing redeeming about her. She's not just grumpy, easily annoyed, or misunderstood. She's actively, intentionally cruel, seemingly deriving joy from the suffering of others. Her scowling, perpetually dissatisfied face is a constant visual reminder of her bitter disposition. Take the episode The Wicked as a prime example of her villainy. She literally weaponized squirrels, training them to attack innocent bystanders, unleashing them on the Watterson kids with a chilling glee. She then attempted to run over Gumball and Darwin with her car, not in a fit of accidental rage, but with a clear, deliberate intent to cause harm, showing a complete disregard for their lives. But her depravity didn't stop there. She even went as far as swapping baby bracelets just to instigate a fight between 2 unsuspecting mothers, deriving sick pleasure from the ensuing chaos and discord. This level of petty, calculated mischief for no other reason than to watch others suffer is truly disturbing. The absolute worst moment, however, came when she saw Darwin faking drowning in the community pool. Instead of showing an ounce of concern, or even basic human decency, she cruelly threw a toy car directly into his mouth, intending for him to actually drown. And when presented with the clearest opportunity to help him, with Darwin literally gasping for air, she simply smiled gleefully and slammed the door shut in his face, her sinister chuckle echoing as she walked away. It's a truly horrifying display of pure, unadulterated evil, far beyond typical cartoon villainy. Luckily, Gumball was nearby to intervene. Otherwise, Darwin would have surely died. This single act cemented her status as a character who actively wishes harm upon others, making her truly loathsome and unforgettable. Her husband, Mr. Robinson, in stark contrast, often garners public sympathy despite his own grumpy demeanor. Yes, he's a grump, he's selfish, and he frequently clashes with the Wattersons, but he also has surprisingly funny and even emotional moments. He's shown glimpses of a softer side, or at least a more relatable one, such as his complicated relationship with his own car or his hidden affection for his lawn gnomes. He's a flawed character, but his flaws are often played for comedic effect, and he never reaches the depths of pure malevolence that his wife inhabits. Margaret, on the other hand, is consistently, relentlessly the same, cruel and bitter. She is the quintessential villain, embodying pure malevolence without a shred of nuance or potential for growth. She exists purely to create misery, a living embodiment of spite, and for that, she stands alone as Elmore's most universally despised character. She's less a character and more a force of nature, specifically a very grumpy, hateful one. Tobias, the insufferable show-off. On the other side of the hate spectrum, distinct from Mrs. Robinson's malevolence, sits Tobias Wilson. He's a character who elicits strong dislike simply by being himself. Unlike villains who actively seek to cause harm, Tobias is hated more for his grating personality and his utterly unbearable behavior. He embodies the archetype of the rich kid who's perpetually showing off, yet possesses no genuine talent or redeeming qualities to back it up. He constantly strives to be the center of attention, but his methods are universally off-putting. He tries to buy friendships, clumsily interrupts conversations, and boasts without any legitimate reason to do so, making every interaction with him a cringeworthy experience. His presence often serves to highlight the more grounded, or at least less overtly annoying personalities of Gumball and Darwin. Tobias's vibrant, multicolored exterior belies a remarkably bland and shallow interior. He's the kid who believes his expensive clothes, endless gadgets, or simply his parents' wealth makes him inherently superior, and he's not shy about making that known.
Oh, hi. Is this the Millionaire Boys party?
Please, luxury awaits.
This constant need for validation, combined with his complete lack of self-awareness, makes him truly irritating. A prime example of his insufferable nature is seen in the episode The One. Here, his behavior reaches peak levels of exasperation as he attempts to manipulate social dynamics. His goal is not just to be friends with Gumball and Darwin, but to isolate them from all their other friends so he can be their exclusive companion. This manipulative and possessive desire, stemming from a deep-seated insecurity masked by arrogance, reveals the true extent of his off-putting personality. He actively tries to break up existing friendships, not for nefarious reasons, but purely to fulfill his own self-centered need for attention and control over others' social lives. Tobias is a boastful, narcissistic character who is entirely oblivious to how others perceive him. He seems genuinely surprised when his attempts at coolness or friendship fall flat, never realizing that his own actions are the cause. He'll offer unsolicited, terrible advice, attempt to join groups where he's clearly not welcome, and always assume that his presence is a blessing to others. This obliviousness, while part of his comedic charm for the audience, makes him incredibly frustrating for the characters in Elmore, and by extension, for the viewers who have to endure his antics. Despite all this, Tobias's role is essential as a comedic antagonist. He provides a consistent source of conflict and irritation that allows for other characters to react and develop. He's the perfect foil, someone whose annoying tendencies serve to drive plots forward and create humorous situations, even if you can't help but roll your eyes every time he opens his mouth. He's the character you love to hate, precisely because he's so good at being so persistently, hilariously irritating. Jamie, the intimidating bully. Rounding out the spectrum of loathed characters, we encounter Jamie. While Mrs. Robinson embodies pure, petty malice and Tobias represents insufferable arrogance, Jamie's brand of hate stems from her aggressive, domineering, and often genuinely terrifying nature. She's the classic school bully, but dialed up to an extreme that makes her genuinely unsettling. Initially, Jamie was relegated to the background, appearing as a generic, tough-looking character. However, as the series progressed, her personality solidified into something far more menacing. She became a prominent figure of intimidation, a character whose presence often signals impending physical or emotional discomfort for others. Her defining traits are her aggression and her unwavering dominance. She doesn't just push people around, she actively seeks to control situations and individuals through sheer force and intimidation. A prime example of her unsettling behavior is starkly displayed in the episode The Girlfriend. In this storyline, Jamie coerced Darwin into a relationship, essentially forcing him to be her boyfriend against his will. This wasn't a playful crush, it was an act of emotional and psychological bullying. When Darwin didn't respond or behave exactly as she wanted, her reaction was immediate and intensely aggressive. She didn't just get mad, she physically threatened him and others, making it clear that dissent would be met with overwhelming force. This episode particularly cemented her status as a character whose humor is often deeply uncomfortable, bordering on genuinely disturbing, because her actions frequently cross the line from cartoon antics into genuinely menacing behavior. Jamie's physical prowess and menacing demeanor mean that her threats are always credible. She's not just bluster, she's a concrete block with limbs, capable of causing real damage. This makes her less of a funny antagonist and more of a genuine threat within the school environment. The comedic elements around her often derive from the sheer terror she inspires in others, rather than any inherent humor in her own actions. While the episode The Buddy did attempt to show a sliver of vulnerability in Jamie, Revealing a deeper loneliness and a desire for genuine connection beneath her tough exterior, these moments are often overshadowed by her consistent hostility. This fleeting glimpse of a softer side, though appreciated by some viewers for adding a layer to her character, rarely translates into a sustained change in her behavior. She quickly reverts to type, making her perceived overall by fans as hostile and generally unpleasant. Her default setting is antagonistic, making her a formidable obstacle for Gumball and Darwin, and a character many fans find difficult to root for or even tolerate. She's the embodiment of the schoolyard tormentor, a character designed to evoke fear and resentment rather than affection. The most loved: kindness, loyalty, and relatability. Darwin, the heart of Elmore. While characters like Mrs. Robinson are reviled for their pure malice, Darwin Watterson effortlessly earns the adoration of audiences with his boundless kindness and unwavering loyalty. From the moment he first appeared, a simple goldfish who grew legs and became Gumball's best friend, Darwin instantly connected with viewers. His infectious positive energy, his enormous heart, and his innate desire to always do the right thing make him incredibly endearing. He's often the moral compass of the Watterson family, frequently trying to guide Gumball toward more ethical choices, even if he often gets dragged into chaos regardless. Darwin's empathy is a standout trait, beautifully showcased in the episode The Fan. This particular story featured Sarah, an obsessive and rather unsettling fan who constantly spied on Gumball and Darwin, often making them, and the audience, deeply uncomfortable. While most characters, including Gumball, would have naturally tried to distance themselves from such a persistent and intrusive presence, Darwin approached the situation with remarkable compassion. Instead of pushing her away or being repulsed by her behavior, Darwin chose understanding and inclusion. He genuinely tried to reach out to Sarah, to connect with her, and even to help her channel her intense fandom into something less disruptive. This act of profound forgiveness and clear empathy, even towards someone who was actively making his life awkward, highlights his truly good nature. It's true, Darwin isn't perfect, and that's precisely what makes him so relatable. He has his moments where he can be surprisingly manipulative, especially when trying to get his way or avoid trouble. He can also fall prey to jealousy, particularly when he feels his bond with Gumball is threatened. And, like any child, he occasionally shows flashes of egocentrism, forgetting others' needs in pursuit of his own desires. But these flaws don't diminish his appeal. They actually enhance it. They make him feel more real and less like a saccharine, one-dimensional good guy. His struggles, his occasional missteps, and his constant effort to be a better person resonate deeply with fans. It's this earnest striving, coupled with his inherent sweetness and unwavering devotion to his friends and family, that makes him so easy to love and so cherished by the audience. He's the loyal sidekick with a heart of gold, always there to support Gumball, even when it means facing down ridiculous dangers. Richard, the ideal dad with a good heart. While characters like Tobias might sow division and irritation, Richard Watterson somehow manages to unite audiences in their affection. He embodies a unique kind of ideal dad. He's incredibly relaxed, profoundly loving, and undeniably fun. He may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, and he often sets a terrible example for his children, but his heart is consistently in the right place. This fundamental goodness shines through his most outlandish behaviors, making him a universally beloved figure despite his glaring flaws. Richard's deep-seated kindness is often highlighted by his sheer, almost childlike inability to be mean or confrontational, even when it's absolutely necessary. A perfect illustration of this is seen in the episode The Castle. When the Watterson home becomes overrun with unruly strangers who refuse to leave, Richard's innate good nature, coupled with his passive approach to life, renders him utterly incapable of asserting himself. His inability to kick out the unwanted guests clearly demonstrates his good heart. He simply doesn't have it in him to be unpleasant or forceful. This charming and frustrating trait often necessitates the intervention of his more grounded wife, Nicole, to restore order and sanity to their chaotic household. It's a recurring dynamic that reinforces his lovable incompetence. His relationship with Nicole is arguably one of the most charming and enduring dynamics of the entire series. They are the quintessential opposites attract couple, and their contrasting personalities create a perfect balance that fans adore. Nicole is the responsible, highly stressed, and often exasperated anchor of the family, constantly trying to keep their lives from spiraling into utter chaos. Richard, on the other hand, is the quintessential big kid, often requiring as much supervision or more than his actual children. He's impulsive, prefers leisure over work, and has a boundless appetite for food and ridiculous schemes. Despite their differences, their bond is unbreakable and deeply affectionate. Nicole clearly loves Richard for his easygoing nature and his unwavering devotion, even if she has to drag him through life. Richard, in turn, adores Nicole, recognizing her as the bedrock of their family. They complement each other perfectly, with her practicality balancing his whimsical irresponsibility. This authentic portrayal of a loving, albeit chaotic marriage makes them a couple that fans wholeheartedly root for. Richard's endearing goofiness and his genuinely kind nature, even when he's causing mayhem, ensure his place as one of Elmore's most cherished characters. He reminds us that sometimes, the best intentions, even poorly executed ones, and a big heart are what truly matter in a father. Nicole, the strength and complexity of the home. If Richard is the heart of the Watterson household, then Nicole Watterson is undeniably its unyielding backbone and fiercely protective core. She represents the raw, often overlooked strength required to keep a chaotic family afloat. Nicole is not just a character. She's a testament to the daily grind of parenthood and the sacrifices made for loved ones. Her defining traits are her incredible work ethic, her fierce protectiveness, and her profound emotional complexity. She's the glue that holds the Wattersons together, often at the cost of her own sanity. What makes Nicole so captivating is the depth beneath her perpetually stressed exterior. The episode The Choices offers a poignant look into her past, revealing the difficult decisions and profound sacrifices she made to build her family. We learn about her dreams and ambitions, and how she willingly set them aside for the life she chose with Richard and their children. This revelation adds layers of empathy to her character, transforming her from a mere stressed mom into a figure of quiet heroism and unwavering devotion. It's a powerful exploration of the choices that shape a life, showing the audience the immense strength required to make those concessions out of love. Her protective nature is legendary, often manifesting in bursts of incredible power. In the episode The Fury, Nicole confronts a rival from her past, a former friend and classmate who seemingly had it all. What ensues is nothing short of an epic, anime-style battle that showcases Nicole's formidable martial arts skills and her unyielding determination. This sequence isn't just for laughs. It highlights her immense, almost superhuman strength when her family or her own sense of self is threatened. It's a thrilling display of her capability, revealing the inner warrior beneath the everyday mom. Beyond her formidable power, Nicole's appeal lies in her instinctive maternal drive. Every action she takes, every moment of frustration, is rooted in her deep love for her children and Richard. She strives for order not out of a desire for control, but from a genuine need to provide a stable, safe environment for her family. This maternal instinct is beautifully balanced by her surprising vulnerability. Despite her strength, there are moments where the weight of her responsibilities or the sheer absurdity of her family's antics push her to the brink, showing a raw, relatable side that resonates deeply with anyone who has ever felt overwhelmed. It's this combination of incredible strength, unyielding protectiveness, deep-seated love, and flashes of vulnerability that makes Nicole an incredibly well-rounded and beloved character. Her relatable struggles, her fierce loyalty, and her complex character arc ensure that she has everything to be one of the audience's favorites. She's not just the mom figure. She's a fully realized individual who embodies the quiet heroism of keeping a family, and a chaotic world, from completely falling apart. Gumball, the charismatic and complex protagonist. At the very heart of the amazing world of Gumball is, naturally, Gumball Watterson himself. He's the titular character, and despite being the primary catalyst for Elmore's frequent descent into chaos, he remains the unquestionably adored protagonist. His charm lies in his chaotic, unpredictable, and utterly overflowing personality. He's not a perfect hero. In fact, he's far from it. Gumball constantly makes mistakes, often driven by impulsive decisions. a skewed sense of logic, or just plain mischief. Yet, crucially, he also genuinely tries to improve and demonstrates surprising moments of maturity and self-criticism. This blend of childlike impulsiveness and budding self-awareness makes him incredibly dynamic and relatable. His most defining relationship, and arguably the bedrock of the entire series, is his friendship with Darwin. This bond is one of the most solid and endearing connections in animated television. They are inseparable, sharing an almost telepathic understanding and an unwavering loyalty to each other. While their adventures inevitably lead to conflicts, whether it's bickering over a video game, a misunderstanding about a secret, or Gumball dragging Darwin into yet another ill-conceived scheme, they always, without fail, reconcile. Their deep affection and reliance on each other are palpable, making their brotherhood a constant source of warmth and humor. Fans consistently describe Gumball as hilarious, sarcastic, and incredibly identifiable. His quick wit and often meta-commentary on the show itself add layers to his humor. More importantly, viewers see pieces of themselves in his everyday struggles, his social awkwardness, his desires for attention, and his attempts to navigate the bizarre world around him. He's the embodiment of the typical kid, exaggerated for comedic effect but retaining a core of authenticity. What elevates Gumball beyond just a funny character is his complexity and humanity. He's not just a caricature, he has genuine feelings, fears, and aspirations. He grapples with insecurity, yearns for acceptance, and occasionally shows surprising flashes of insight and emotional depth. This makes him more than just charismatic. It makes him a genuinely well-rounded character who, despite his frequent blunders, you can't help but root for. He's the lovable rogue whose heart is usually in the right place, even when his actions lead to citywide mayhem. He embodies the unpredictable fun that is the amazing world of Gumball. Characters that divide, love, or hate. Not all characters in Elmore fit neatly into the loved or hated categories. Some exist in a fascinating gray area, eliciting strong, often conflicting emotions from the audience. These characters are often complex, with the traits that can be both endearing and irritating, leading to lively debates among fans. Sarah. From lovable fan to disquieting stalker. Sarah G. Lotto is a prime example of a character who truly divides opinion, sparking both affection and intense annoyance. Initially, she was introduced as a somewhat eccentric but harmless fan, clearly infatuated with Gumball and Darwin. Her early appearances painted her as a quirky admirer, her oddball nature providing some comedic relief. However, as the series progressed, Sarah's adoration mutated into something far more unsettling. She became an uncomfortably obsessive stalker. Her fan behavior escalated beyond simply observing. She began to actively intrude on their lives in increasingly bizarre and invasive ways. This shift transformed her from a sympathetic figure into one that many viewers found genuinely creepy and problematic. A peak demonstration of her alarming obsession occurs in the episode The Shippening. In this meta-narrative masterpiece, Sarah literally rewrites reality to make her ships come true. This means manipulating the lives and relationships of other characters in Elmore to fit her personal fan fiction narratives. While it's clear she doesn't act with outright malice, her intentions are rooted in a misguided desire to see her favorite characters together. Her actions are undeniably intrusive, manipulative, and deeply disturbing. She completely disregards the autonomy and feelings of others, viewing them as mere puppets in her own twisted fantasies. For many viewers, this obsessive behavior crosses a line, making her not just annoying, but genuinely concerning. Her inability to understand boundaries combined with her immense reality-bending power makes her a character whose every appearance can provoke a mix of dread and bewildered amusement. Aeneas, the misunderstood genius. Finally, we have Aeneas Watterson, the youngest member of the Watterson family, and another character who often sparks debate among fans. On one hand, she is undeniably intelligent, astute, and by far the smartest person in the family despite being only 4 years old. Her intellectual prowess is astounding, allowing her to grasp complex concepts, strategize, and often see through the chaotic schemes of her older brothers. In episodes like The Copycats, her sharp wit and cold, hard logic are instrumental in saving her family from their self-made predicaments, often single-handedly. She's the voice of reason in a house of madness, a tiny prodigy whose intellect is often the only thing standing between the Wattersons and utter disaster. Because of her brilliance and her role as the family's problem solver, Anais is very much beloved by a significant portion of the audience. Her moments of exasperation with her family are highly relatable, and her cleverness is often a source of great amusement. However, her intelligence also comes with a downside that some viewers find off-putting. Some fans perceive Anais as arrogant, pedantic, or difficult to take seriously due to her constant need to be right and her sometimes condescending attitude towards her family's lesser intellects. She can be overly critical, bossy, and occasionally exploits her intelligence for her own gain. Her advanced vocabulary and logical demeanor can sometimes make her feel less like a child and more like a miniature adult, which might diminish her appeal for those seeking more traditional cartoon child characters. Ultimately, it's this unique mixture of prodigious brain power, strong character, and underlying moments of surprising tenderness that makes Anais stand out. She's a complex blend of an annoying know-it-all and an incredibly resourceful, caring little sister who genuinely loves her dysfunctional family, even if she's constantly exasperated by them. This duality ensures her place as a character who is both highly respected for her intellect and sometimes critiqued for her personality. The amazing world of Gumball is a masterclass in character writing, populating the vibrant, chaotic town of Elmore with a diverse cast that consistently elicits strong reactions from its audience. This isn't a show where characters merely exist in the background. Each one, from the main Watterson family to the most obscure citizens, leaves a lasting impression. Some are unconditionally adored for their kindness, loyalty, and relatability, embodying traits we admire or see pieces of ourselves in. Then there are those who are unequivocally detested, either for their malicious actions or simply for their insufferable personalities. And finally, there are the fascinating few who exist in a divisive middle ground, capable of inspiring both affection and frustration, often within the same episode. This rich tapestry of personalities, ranging from Mrs. Robinson's pure, unadulterated villainy to Darwin's boundless empathy, from Richard's lovable incompetence to Nicole's unwavering strength, and from Tobias's arrogant posturing to Anais's misunderstood brilliance, is precisely what gives the series so much life and replayability. The show's genius lies in its ability to craft characters that are both exaggerated for comedic effect and surprisingly nuanced. We might laugh at Richard's outlandish schemes or Nicole's stress-induced rages, but we also feel their love for their family. We might roll our eyes at Tobias's bragging, but we understand why he's so crucial as a comedic foil. And while characters like Sarah can make us uncomfortable with their obsessive behavior, their existence within the show's bizarre logic adds another layer to Elmore's unique ecosystem. Ultimately, the powerful emotions these characters evoke, whether it's nostalgia, outright amusement, a pang of identification, or even a surge of righteous fury, are a testament to the show's brilliant writing and character development. If this journey through Elmore's most cherished and reviled inhabitants brought back memories, sparked a laugh, or perhaps even reignited a familiar frustration, then consider the mission accomplished. The series thrives on these reactions, inviting viewers to engage not just with its absurd humor, but with its unforgettable cast.